Hey guys, welcome back to Journey Principles Q&A. Today's question kicks us off with, how do I stick to a plan in spite of adversity? There's no easy way around this. I mean, there really isn't. It's a matter of putting in the work. If you've actually taken the time to gain perspective and actually organize a plan, then if you're trying to get results, you're gonna have to execute the plan, right? You're gonna have things pop up. You're gonna have things stand in your way. You're gonna have people that maybe disagree. You're gonna have these things. It's part of the process. The character is actually built while you're going through the process. The character is built as you're going through it. You're learning how to keep pushing forward. I like to think of it as, you're trying to climb a mountain. Well, as you climb the mountain, your legs are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. With every new level, so to speak, there's a new devil, which means you're gonna have to face some adversity. All right, that's what we refer to as breakthrough, right? You can't break through something you're not going to. So you have to keep moving forward. You've got to keep up with momentum. You've got to keep going. That way you can actually get it done. So there's no easier around it. You just got to fight. You got to fight through it. You got to fight through the last rep. You got to fight through the next big deal. You got to fight through the marriage counseling session that maybe you're working through. You got to fight through the child that's struggling right now. You just got to keep pushing. Keep pushing. Right? And if you're a person of faith like myself, pushing means pray until something happens. But above all else, you just keep going. You're going to face adversity. And your success will actually be defined by the adversity in which you'll face. So you got to keep moving forward. So dig deep, get it done. I believe in you. Make it happen. All right, our next question is, how do I let go of regret? I like to think of it this way. Imagine if you were driving a car, right, and you're going 70 miles an hour down the highway. Are you going to turn around and look behind you? And if so, can you prevent yourself from getting wrecked? Of course not. If you're going to let go and they're going to move forward from regret, you're going to have to focus on the forward and not put so much pressure on the past. You've got to keep doing it that way. I like to say that essentially every single mistake, every single thing that you've been through, nothing gets wasted. Nothing gets wasted. There's always something to be learned. There's always something to be gleaned, and there's always something that you can use to actually work towards the future that you most desire in your heart. The question is are you doing enough insightful work, reflection? Do you have a pen and a pad out? Are you spending time with a journal? What are you doing in an effort to take the learning lessons from the very thing that you feel shame from? There's a tremendous amount that can be learned, period. So what I would say is if you don't want to wreck your forward future in the car you're driving, so to speak, if you look at your future as a car and you don't want to wreck and you want to go full steam ahead and you want to become unstoppable, then you're going to have to let go, forgive yourself, and quit looking at the regret. There's nothing to be regretful over. It happened, it's history, and you got to let go. Move on. You got this. I know you can do this. It's part of the process. Trust the process. Keep moving. All right, our next question is a pretty serious one, which is, how do I figure out why I always feel depressed? I'm going to try to answer it from my personal perspective and my personal viewpoint. The first thing I would say is, let me ask you this. Whose expectation are you living to? Whose expectation are you seeking? Are you seeking your own expectations, where you think you should be, or are you basing on where you think you should be based on where someone else thinks you should be? That's a very important question. A lot of times the feelings that kind of relate to depression, where you feel like you never measure up or you're not getting enough progress in a quick enough fashion, oftentimes means you're pursuing it based on somebody else's vision, right? And you want to make sure that you are pursuing it with your vision. Now, in the event that maybe you are pursuing it, you're trying to hit your own standard, it's not based on someone else's opinion, then the first thing I would actually do is check out body chemistry, right? Go and actually get some tests ran to make sure you have reasonable levels of serotonin and dopamine, right? Take the time to actually look at your overall body chemistry. Far often than not, especially when you've been in a depressive state or in a symptom of depressive state for extended periods of time, the way the brain works is it's very easy to keep you there. Okay, and it's not until you begin to build from little wins over and over and over and over again that you begin to walk yourself out of that. But what you can do in the meantime, if your body chemistry is off, is begin to take supplements like I do from time to time, like St. John's wort. which naturally increases some serotonin levels. Now, obviously check with your doctor first. If you're allergic to St. John's wort, we wouldn't want you to take that at all. But it's a natural supplement that helps me from time to time if I feel like I'm in a tough spot. I had to battle anxiety and depression a huge chunk of my life, right? And now sometimes those symptoms will pop up for a minute, but I now have the tools to help overcome that stuff. So I get active. I stay nutrified, if you will, or using supplements and superfoods to kind of keep my brain firing on all cylinders, which corrects my body chemistry. All right, so that's 1 and 2. I think the third thing I would do is I would actually look at your overall routine. Okay, if you're getting up every morning but you just feel like going back to bed, unfortunately that's going to increase the likelihood of you staying depressed longer and the symptoms worsening. However, if you can manage to push through and become unstoppable and focus on getting up every day, even in this COVID stuff that we've been dealing with for a long time, just get up and, if you're a female, put on your makeup, right? If you're a guy, get up and do a couple sit-ups and push-ups. Act like you're going to the job you love. Wake up and dress accordingly. Treat yourself accordingly. Maybe start an online course. But what you've got to do is you've got to keep your brain functioning, you got to keep your body functioning, and you got to get rest. So the final thing is, what's your rest and replenishment cycle? Are you taking the time to rest? A lot of people will confuse depression with being overworked or overexerted. If you're not getting enough rest on a weekly basis, that's why your brain is not getting the rest and replenishment it needs in order to help you think clearly and help your body follow the suit. So make sure you're doing those 4 things, and I think that'll help you win. Take care. All right, our final question for today is, how do I cope with the loss of a loved one? Well, first of all, let me tell you, I can be very empathetic to that and sympathize with that greatly. The reason is because I was actually raised largely, or at least a good chunk of my life was raised by a single grandparent. And when she passed away at roughly 9 years old, I was devastated. So much so that I actually had to repeat the 5th grade. Now, contrast that to probably a couple decades later when my grandfather passed, who led me, he was my spiritual mentor in many, many ways. When he left this earth, I was actually, in a roundabout way, I was actually happy and excited for him. Now, a lot of that has to do with our faith. Now, if you're not a person of faith, or you are a person of faith, what I'm about to share with you will help you. And that is this. Rather than focus on them not being around and the longing and the missing, instead, be thankful for the time you have and had, and then also celebrate the life they had. Take the memories of missing and mourning and turn those into memories of joy based on, you remember this one time, Granddad? Or you remember this one time, Grandma? Or you remember this one time, my dad? Right? Let those joyous moments outperform and take over those sorrowful moments. And that will allow you to change your perspective over time. I'm not going to promise you it's going to solve the problem immediately. But I can tell you that if you take that time and change your perspective in that way, spend some time maybe with a journaling or talking to a friend about it. What happens is inevitably you are so thankful. You spend so much time being so thankful that they were part of your life, and you got to spend so much time with them. And now you can take their legacy and teach other people with their legacy. It makes them eternal. If you can take the lessons you've learned from the people that you loved and change somebody else's life with that, what other way can be the greatest honor of honoring that person and celebrating the life that you had? So I hurt for you that you're in a season where maybe it's hurting and maybe you don't feel good because you lost someone. But in the meantime, take my word for it. I promise it works. Spend time just being thankful and grateful and celebrating the good things. And you may have to pull out a pen and a pad and remind yourself of what those things is. Open a photo book, right? And look at those things and see what's there. Now, will tears probably arrive as you're looking at photos and you're looking at home memories and movies and stuff like that? Of course. But that's part of the cleansing effect, right? The purpose of the tear changes, right? The tear's not falling because of sorrow. The tear is falling because of joy and because of optimism about what they left behind in you. So give that to someone else, and I think that'll help you beat sorrow. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's Life Mastery Q&A video. We're doing a new Q&A video every single Monday. And if you have questions you'd like answered, simply leave a comment with your question below this video or email us at questions@journeyprinciples.com. And if we use your question, we'll send you a free gift just to say thank you.